Hey, everybody, you're going to want to listen all the way through in this episode because we have got great news for one of the bands that's getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You're also going to find out why I really hope that Madonna starts working with people that she worked with back in the 90s, including Michelle and Deggiocello.
If only she'd get to work. She just never works enough.
Enjoy the show, everyone.
Hey, you guys. Here we are back again in the springtime of your favorite decade. Kel?
I would like to start things off by saying I sound a little wonky. I sound like a lady of the evening, but
A lady of the evening named Wonky, not
yes.
making a lot of bank, you know?
So I apologize in advance if anyone's like, that doesn't sound like Kelly. In fact, it doesn't, but I'm hoping I'm on the tail end of whatever it was. But it was funny when we recorded the show last week, as we were talking, I felt my voice was getting deeper and something
Yes.
was up. And then sure enough, like the next couple of days, it was like battling having a voice or not. But I will give lots of street cred to HydroSense. They should sponsor our podcast.
Wouldn't that... They sound very clear in their nasal cavities.
Yeah.
We do, don't we?
And also,
Ah.
have you ever tried oil of oregano, Sharon?
Yes, I have. It's awful, but it works.
It totally works. I'm convinced that's what saved me from having a full-blown schmozzle. Yeah.
So many technical terms on the show today, everybody. Thank you for
Yep.
riding
Yep.
along with us. I would be remiss if I didn't make the obvious joke about you being sounding like a lady of the night and possibly sounding a little hoarse.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, how about we get to it? That one of our favorite Canadians has a new album and tour this year. So we'll talk about that. And I say one of our favorite Canadians. He's one of the world's favorite Canadians. He's a
hmm
global superstar. So we'll talk about Bryan Adams. Also, update on One Direction's Liam Payne's, the late Liam Payne's estate. Kelly's trivia will be the thing that will make you brag hardest about getting. Yes, your degree, your degree in all things 90s will come to play here and you will come to play with us. So thank you very much. Also, more than a handful of songs on your 90s rewind because I couldn't help myself. Like, yes, got to talk about that one. Oh, yeah, that one too. Ah. So it'll be good. And with Soundgarden getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, super cool for the class of 2025. This year comes more good news from them. So let's start there, Cal, starting on a rock and roll note.
hmm
It's new music from Soundgarden. How exciting is that?
Yeah, especially because, as we know, Chris Cornell passed away in 2017 unexpectedly. So the fact that we're getting a new album all these years later, 8 years later, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. It's crazy to think he's been gone for 8 years-ish.
Yeah,
Do you remember? I don't remember what month he passed away, though. Do
I'm
you?
pretty sure it was May.
Was it May? Okay. So yeah,
I'm,
so 8 years, crazy, crazy.
yeah, quite crazy, actually. And to think that their last album would have been Animal Kingdom, and that was 2012, right?
Yep.
That's what our notes say, I think.
Yeah,
Mind you,
2012. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull my Adam strength in here. But they have new music, and yeah, May 18th,
Okay.
2017, just to be clear.
Crazy.
Yeah, totally crazy that that much time has passed. Man, oh man.
Were we when he passed, there was some concern that like maybe he didn't mean to, right? Did they ever figure that out if that was
Yeah, there's been um, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess investigation into that, but deemed that he took his own life.
yeah.
He died by suicide.
hmm
Um, the impact of that on Chester Bennington was also quite moving because he too died the following year,
Crazy.
having Chris Cornell as an inspiration and an influence and all the things you would want from a Big Brother type character in your life, and he suffered the same situation. But for the music of Soundgarden, we have Kim Thale, guitar player from the band, saying that their objective was to always complete this album that they had. And now at 64, he's 64 years old. He says, I probably have OCD enough to not want to leave something like this unfinished. But ultimately, what they were looking to do was pay tribute give a gift to the fans,
Hmm.
and in turn sort of give a gift to Chris for finishing some of the stuff that they had. And he said that that he thinks that the more that they can attend to that body of work in that catalog, the better. That everyone in the band feels the same way. The collective experience and the work of Chris is
Yeah.
something that they're drawing from, which is amazing. Because when you think of, I think any band, you go into a recording situation with more than enough.
Hmm.
You know, better to have too much than not enough. Um, and so there's always songs that are still really good that just don't make the cut for that album. So it'll be really cool to see and to hear what that how that will take shape and how proud they are. I think that that's what's going to come through the most. The sense of pride that they are uh, uh, putting in undoubtedly will get out that they are honoring their friend in that way.
Do you think they will tour?
I don't know.
Have they done anything since he's been gone?
As a band, did they do anything?
Like, I don't remember them borrowing like a vocalist.
I think they had some stuff with his estate and his widow
Oh,
that wasn't necessarily positive.
oh, I think I remember
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't his
So
daughter singing also?
yeah, she did a version of what did she do? She covered somebody's song. I feel like I'm compromised. I have shadow in my arm, so I've got use of this hand, but I can't even show you my other hand because my 10-pound, 50-pound dog
Yeah.
is keeping my left arm down. So I'm not as agile as I should be.
And
Um,
here's another question for you whilst you're searching for that, because I know they're, as you mentioned, they're going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year as
yeah,
inductees with Cyndi Lauper and a bunch of other cool people.
yep.
Um,
Joe
w-
Cocker included, not a 90s artist, certainly, but about time kind of
yeah,
thing.
was this Soundgarden's first attempt at going in?
No, no, no. They've been qualified. You have to have, it's 25 years after your first release. So they've been qualified for long enough now.
I can't
But
believe it would even be a question why they wouldn't go in right away. Would you have that question?
Well, honestly, I think the idea that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not necessarily just rock and roll, which is what it was when it started. They
Hmm.
have diverted their path and opened it up to the impact that uh, artists have. And in that way, um, so other people get in and push people down the list. And I mean, it happens. Think of a band like Bad Company who are getting in. In my estimation, they should have been in a long time ago. The fact that Iron Maiden
Hmm.
aren't in yet, the
Yeah.
whole idea is that they're supposed to have demonstrated an impact or significance within their genre, that kind of thing. Iron Maiden, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, so uh, you can't say, oh, I wonder why, why it took so long. It just did. And you know that they're all going to get in.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Is
Joe Cocker, for his influence on music from the later 60s into the 70s and then the 80s and some in the 90s too, just as what he contributed, he should already be in.
right.
But not. Who else is not in there? Somebody else.
Is Judas
Then I read
Priest
an
in?
did they make it in yet? Like there's so many that aren't in. I can't even
Yeah.
remember who all is in.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Um, Meanwhile, I'm looking for Chris Cornell's daughter's musical activity, so I'm going to
There's
put a pin in that and just go and see that whether Judas Priest are in the Rock Hall or not. There was
because I
an
read.
article I read a bit of about Simon Kirke, who is a drummer for Bad Company, who was in the band Free with Paul Rogers, which is
Mhm.
what made Bad Company what's termed a supergroup, which is made up of members with other successful with members that have been successful in other bands,
Yeah.
and that's what Bad Company is. And they were great.
Yeah.
But the article was from Simon Kirk's perspective, saying now, basically that he wasn't sure that Free was going to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And no disrespect to Free, but not everybody deserves to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
Yeah.
And Free was an impact. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
They gave us, two parts of what was Bad Company, but it doesn't mean that you just get in.
Yeah.
And again, no disrespect, but Iron Maiden's not in. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's strange. So I think the perspective of who gets in and when and all that is definitely skewed.
Hmm.
based on the fact that they have kind of redefined what gets you in. They've massaged the rock and roll angle so that other influences can get in. Sidebar: Judas Priest got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2022.
I thought I'd heard about that. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And by the way, for like, because when we were doing this, like, when I sent you the information on Soundgarden in the article we read, it didn't have a release date for this album. So then I actually Googled it to see if some other publication had the date. I still can't
Yep.
find the date. So I don't think there is a date yet.
And that's fine because that just, I think it gives fans hope that it's something that they're working toward. Certainly they have all the pieces because
Hmm.
Chris Cornell is not here anymore. So they have to work with what they have. But I love that. I love that kind of a nugget because it's hopeful, it's optimistic, and it keeps fans happy. And you know that they're
Do
doing
you
something.
really like nuggets when we don't have a date? Because that always makes
Yeah.
me like, yeah, you're okay with that. Because sometimes when I get stuff like that, I'm like, but I need like something solid so we know it's coming. So that's not just like, but I'm assuming Soundgarden would not open their traps if it wasn't. So
Yeah, because they don't have to.
yeah,
And I think they know that about themselves and um, they don't have to please anybody, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
They're looking, and certainly they are looking to please the fans and they're looking to honor their friend, but they know they're going to get it done
Hmm.
and that'll happen, which is great.
Boom.
I like it.
I miss Chris
Uh,
Cornell. I always thought like, and as a person who bats for the other team, I always thought he was very handsome.
he is very handsome, soulful in his writing, in his vocals. What was the name of that album that
He
he
also
did?
seemed like, I know you would know more because I didn't watch a ton of it, but he also seemed like a really sweet person. Like I got
Mm-hmm.
that sense. So,
Yep. One album you should listen to that I would recommend would be, where did it go? Oh my gosh, I just had it. Higher Truth, is that it? I think that's it. It's very good.
okay.
And, what was the name of the song? Nearly Forgot My Broken Heart is the first song on that album, but he also does another song that's not on this album called Sunflower,
Oh yeah, okay.
Sunshower. Like, I'm tired, Kelly, so I apologize for mucking it up a little bit, but the album Higher Truth,
Yeah,
start to finish, is an experience just because you're there with him.
that's
Um,
great.
yeah, feels good.
I love him. So nice.
Feels good. Now, just because I'm that way,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I get. It's not
I'm
Sunflower.
I'm blanking on the hip hop people that are going in this year. Is it
Sunshower.
sorry?
Sunshower.
It's a show.
The hip hop people, you're blanking on them or you're bothered by them? What's
No, I'm
happening? There's
blanking
not
on who's
enough?
going in because it's Cyndi Lauper, Soundgarden, Joe Cocker. Who else? Do you remember the list?
I
Was it
kept it
was
up.
it Outkast?
Yes, Outcast is on that list. The White Stripes on that list.
Okay,
Um, Chubby Checker.
nice.
Yeah. And you have to put those people in for their contributions in an overall stroke.
Hmm.
Bad Company, Soundgarden, Joe Cocker, Outcast, Chubby Checker, White Stripes, Cyndi Lauper.
Okay, solid.
Yeah.
Solid. When's the because when I went to the Janet one in 2019, that was M March.
Musical influence, Salt and Peppa, Warren Zevon. Also.
Yeah, so Salt and Pep's going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's what I thought I'd saw. That's amazing. Very excited for the girls.
Three others: Tom Bell, Nikki Hopkins, and Carol Kay. Tom Bell was a producer in the like the Sound of Philadelphia kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Very, very impactful. If you Google him, and you can find, I think they paid tribute to him on something because he died within the last few years, but it's impressive what he's done.
Okay.
Nicky Hopkins was he was a sideman with the Stones for a lot.
Hmm.
And Carol Kay is a bass player. She was a member of the Wrecking Crew, who is that group of session musicians that basically provided the instrumental parts of a zillion or so hit songs in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
But it's her bass line on Sonny and Cher's The Beat Goes On.
Oh, cool.
So imagine, if you will, mid 60s,
Yeah.
a female bass player, which was for those sessions, it was basically a day job that you went to the studio and you were tasked with, recording whatever those songs were that day.
Mm.
And then you went home at the end of the day. But for a female to do it, not common. Certainly not, from a rock perspective. So she's a trailblazer. Carol Kay. But also, if you haven't seen the Wrecking Crew documentary, you should totally see that too.
Okay.
I know.
I also like Michelle and Ocello.
She is pretty cool. I would imagine that she is well aware of Carol Kay's
Influence.
offerings in the.
Yeah. Actually, I should reach out to her to see Michelle and Ocello to try get her on the show.
You should see if she wants to slap at the bass. Talk about it.
Her album, like after I heard her like do the song with Mellencamp,
Yes, Wild Night.
that one. And then she was on Madonna's Secret album, I think. Was it Secret album? Anyways,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I bought Michelle's, like I think it was her debut album. It's such a great album.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's a green cover if I remember correctly. Like anyways, it's I have it on cassette and
Oh, did
I'll,
you put it in your Walkman, dear?
I did. I think I think I have some 12-inch vinyl also. Yeah, because
Ooh.
she did a song with Shaka Khan called Never Miss the Water. Do you remember that?
Oh, love that song. That's on
It
Shaka Khan's hits collection.
it's so, and I know you don't normally like this, but so my 12-inch vinyl has remixes of it.
Ooh.
Sharona, you might want to break your no remix rule. It's very good.
Well, it would have to pay close enough tribute to the original version, which I think does a great job of Michelle Indigiocello's bass lines with Shaka's vocals that sort of like create that braid of
Yeah.
brilliance. Love it.
I would love if Madonna would go back and work with some of the ones she's done like stuff with in the past. You know what I mean? Like that'd be
Yeah.
fun to revisit like her stuff with Michelle and Cello, her to like have Nikki and Donna singing with her again. Like that'd be all
Ooh,
fun. By
that
the
would be.
way,
I'm
I
just showing
should
you that I released my left hand,
oh I
though
like it. Oh
not
you got your
not
you
to the
got
happiness of the beast, but I just wanted to wave.
um what else did I want to tell you? I know we're going to trivia, so do we start there? Do we go there?
Sure. Well, your call, Cal.
Boom, here we are. Um,
Boom.
I love some trivia. Um, After trivia or near the end of the show, I have to tell you about a comedian. So you decide when you want this comedian news, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So we've moved on to new cards, Sharon, purple
Oh,
and
yay.
orangey.
Oh,
Hobbies, toys, and games, or sport to start.
sport to start.
I didn't look at the answer at this because I actually wanted to see if we could both get it right because I feel like
Hmm.
we'll be similar. In which year did Tiger Woods turn professional? What year?
Oh,
When you pick a year, I'm gonna pick a year, and then I'll turn the card together.
all right. 97.
I'm gonna say 96, but I think you're right.
You're like the person who bets $1 on the
I got
showcase
it.
thing. Oh, good. The Price is Right person. Everybody gets all specific, and then they go $1. I'm gonna smack that person a lot, but I don't want to smack you. I'm really happy that you got the answer, truthfully.
Thank you. Because when they say $1, it's because they think everybody's over, right? So they'll get it no matter what. That's the $1
Yeah. Hmm.
strategy. Okay. Oh, there's Shadow. Um, so this is hobbies, toys, and games. The game of Pogs was popularized in which U.S. state? I don't know this either. Do you?
Oh, I don't either. I would
The
guess.
game of Pogs was
I know the
popularized.
game.
Which one are you gonna say?
Sorry, I know the game. I don't know the year exactly, but I would guess um 98.
Well, it's not. It's you need to tell me which U.S. state.
Oh, sorry, Wisconsin.
I'm gonna go with, again, I didn't look at the answer. I'm gonna say Maine. Ready?
Yes.
Nope.
No.
Take Sharon, you take one more guess and go more
Um,
west than you think.
Wester than that. Go Wester. I will go with
More wester than you think and more wester than your guess.
okay, I'm gonna go with Texas.
Hawaii.
Ooh, that is Wester.
Yeah.
For the record, we both know that Wester isn't a term.
Yeah. You don't have to text us.
Don't be concerned, we are not having an episode
Yeah.
on this episode.
Yeah. I would have never thought Hawaii. I don't know why I wouldn't have thought that, but I think I felt like it was more of like an East Coast game, Pugs. Anyways,
Well, nope. We're
nope.
here to teach and
Couldn't
learn at the same time.
couldn't be more west than Hawaii.
Couldn't be Wester than that.
Yeah.
Hey, so for One Direction's Liam Payne, um, may he rest in peace. It's only been 7 months since he passed. Um, and the truth of the matter is, he is worth many millions of dollars, or his estate is worth many millions of dollars. And they have named his ex to be the administrator of the estate. He also didn't have a will.
Yeah.
So whether or not he would have wanted his ex, who was the mother of his child, to have been that, it's been determined that she is that.
Yeah.
Named the administrator. $32.2 million estate.
Yeah.
Um, and sidebar, for any adults listening that are in a situation where you have things, or not even many things, it's important to have a will.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
So that if something like this happens, your stuff goes to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah.
Nobody likes talking about it, but it's a good idea.
Couldn't agree with you more, Sharon. And for someone who has just gone through a bunch of that stuff, I would say that like super important to get it done and super important to make sure it's all done so that should someone perish, you're not going, "Ooh, I needed one more signature."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's yeah, I've been through it a couple of times with different family members, and you just want to make sure that
Yeah.
things are going where you want them to go.
Yeah. And I would also say too, like, in my recent experience that because it's so crazy how it's like it's a in a way it's like a business decision, right? Like it's like a business decision like about
Hmm.
how you need things to work and go and who it's going to go for or like to be managed and all that stuff. But then obviously there's the emotional, familial, you know, we'll call them requirements or you think it's a requirement, but like don't let what you think would be a kinder choice prevail if you know in the end it's not the best business choice because then you're going to be left trying to fix mess.
Yeah,
Don't do it. Just do the right business decision first. So,
it's true.
yeah.
Obviously, we know that perhaps your value may not be in the neighborhood of $32.2 million, but we do care about your well-being. So
Yeah.
consider that. I imagine the younger people listening going, "Will,
Yeah.
what?"
Yeah.
So if it doesn't apply to you right now, it might later. Just keep it in mind.
Yeah. But you know this, Sharon. I've hosted a bunch of financial shows on the talk station that we work
Yeah.
for. And I've learned so much by doing that. And like honestly, if you're like, if you're like 21 and have stuff at all, anything, you should have a will. Even if you don't have kids yet, like it's just you need to provide direction
Hmm.
for whoever. And and like my thing about it is because like yeah I think not that we should I think a lot of people feel like they don't want to talk about it like whatever but it's if you
Totally.
get it handled you take the stress off of when somebody's dealing with the emotion of you being gone like you know
Yeah.
what I mean there's so much sadness and grief that's going on like don't add problemas that you could have dealt with.
Don't add Latin problems
Yeah.
to an already sad situation.
Yeah. Anyways, there's that. Back to you, Sharon.
Well, that is that for them.
Oh, I
I
would say
do.
though, also, but just a quick sidebar, or not sidebar, back to the story. I thought that, again, I haven't been like following the story a lot in the last like little while with regards to Liam Payne, but I will
Mhm.
say that in his immediate aftermath of his passing, Cheryl seemed to be extremely eloquent and very balanced in any statement I heard from her. And I think again, her concern was their son Bear, and I feel like it sounds like she's a good choice to be handling his estate. Like
Yeah,
I feel like because his dad was very involved in going to get Liam and bring him home at the time. So like I would have thought his dad would have been on this, but if his dad is okay that it is Cheryl, I think that's great. Like
that says something
great.
too.
Yeah.
He had been seeing somebody too for a couple of years, so
Yeah.
that, I mean, it calls a bunch to the table to try and figure out the emotions of it. So like we were saying, you can minimize a lot of that if you just take care of some stuff. The interesting
Mhm.
thing also is that um, in the UK, if you die without a will, the person's children normally inherit the estate if there is no spouse or civil partner.
So maybe that's
But
why she got it because she's his mother, right? So
yeah,
yeah, because
yeah,
he's
and
only
obviously,
7 or 8 right now, Bear, I think.
yeah,
He's not
exactly.
old.
Nope. So that we are full service in our show today, Kelly. So let me just balance it all off with a little bit of a joke. I follow a something called Rag Mop and Goose on Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's a fluffy bee puppet that arrives on the scene with a honey joke. So you see nothing, and then you'll see honey joke, and then you'll see zoom. This puppet comes and that sound, and they tell a dad joke, like corny dad joke, every single time, but they're always funny. So I thought we'd drop one in ahead of getting into your 90s rewinds. So this bee asks, "What kind of coordination was Whitney Houston best known for?" And then the bee starts giggling. It's a puppet, by the way, just to remind you. And then it says, hand-eye, hand-eye coordination. And then this bee laughs at its own jokes hard enough that it starts to wheeze and cough. So it's like, anyways,
So it sounds like me this week.
yeah, exactly. I thought that would be a nice little segue into your 90s rewind because Whitney Houston was, a part of your soundtrack from around this time in 1991. We're going to a bunch of songs that were riding the charts, going up and down and doing the zigzag around each other, creating the soundtrack to the springtime of 1991. And Whitney Houston was inching up the charts with
Yeah.
Miracle.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice. Then we get a little bit sexy. You
Yeah.
go to Kathy Dennis, who you wouldn't expect to be necessarily sexy by the look of her. And no offense to Kathy Dennis, she just doesn't strike you as whatever, but Touch Me All Night Long
Good song.
really
Solid
hit the nail
song.
on the head. And then, then into the taking care of my own business category, you go from her to the Divinals and I Touch Myself. Then you go to Mariah Carey, who
Yeah.
just beautifies the situation every single time with I Don't Want to Cry.
Oh, that's such a great song. Great song.
Great, beautiful. More Than Words from Extreme,
Mm.
proving that the formula of a rock band providing a ballad, and in this case, an acoustic one, fit the time where people were doing unplugged things around this time.
Yeah.
But for a band that gave us, songs like "Get the Funk Out," real chunky, crunchy guitars, "More Than Words" is easily their best known song and definitely an acoustic ballad. How about Black Box and Strike It Up? They were getting us ready to go to the dance floor every weekend with this club banger, Kel.
Yeah.
Strike it up. Come on. And for a group of young boys who weren't even allowed in the clubs, Aisha from Another Bad Creation was finding its way onto our speakers back around this time in 1991. It was from the album Coolin' at the Playground. Why? Because they were children.
Yeah.
So where else would they be cooling at the playground? This was
Yeah.
the group that was discovered, air quotes, by Michael Bivins of Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Now you know.
They used to be
Um,
all over like the 16 magazines, but it was Word Up, I think, and Black Beat magazine.
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of artists that I think of Kathy Dennis and sort of relatively clean cut is what I was going
Yeah.
for. Um, I think of Sheena Easton, and she has made the journey from similarly clean cut in the
Mm.
80s. Then she went to Prince influence.
Yeah.
She stayed in the adult sexy kind of way. And around this time in 1991, her last chart hit was a song called What Comes Naturally.
Oh,
Sheena Easton.
I used to
Remember,
get her mixed.
remember Sugar Walls?
No.
That was a hit song
Sugar
from her.
Walls.
Yeah. This is a woman that sang My Baby Takes the Morning Train.
Oh, yes.
And then she was singing about her sugar walls. It's a lot, Sheena. It's just a lot for a teenage person to hear.
Yeah. I I used to get because I was fairly young at the time, I used to somehow randomly get Sheena Easton mixed up with Sheila E.
Because it was close.
Because it was close.
Because
I
they sat
interviewed
near each
Sheila.
other in class.
Yeah, I interviewed Sheila E. A few years ago. Uh, That girl don't take no mess.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, she's serious business. It was a big honor to have her on the show, though. She was amazing. Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
to meet her at Strangers in the Night, which is an event, a charity concert that happens every summer, and big names come and do it. And she was amazing. And we met her beforehand, and she was pretty firm.
Yeah.
And then the person I was with said, I loved your book. Thank you very much. And it totally changed her. So she went
Really.
sort of from being in mode of having to meet people to sort of being brought to the moment, which was nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I think actually, in hindsight, I think I interviewed her because she was going to be at that event.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's how I got the interview because she was coming to town. So that's good.
Right.
Now, last thing I have to say this because I don't think, have you heard of comedian Leanne Morgan?
I think from you.
Did I talk to you about this last week?
I think you did.
Oh my God. Because so I found more stuff. She's literally amazing. So please like find her. Or so her Netflix special that she did 2 years ago is on Netflix. You should be able to find it. I haven't watched the full thing, but I believe it's up there. I've just seen so many clips. She's literally hysterical. And I've now seen interview clips from her on YouTube with Hoda and Jenna Bush or whatever. And
Yep.
then she was on, and honestly, Hoda was laughing so hard. And Hoda's like the consummate broadcast journalist. She was like having trouble breathing. Like so this
That's
girl
funny.
is and she's 57, Sharon.
And she kicks, and
Yeah.
she lunges.
Yeah. And she kicked again.
57.
Anyways, find this girl. Please find she's like literally she's so organic that you know all of her shtick is real. And like you
Nice.
just fall in love with her. Like she's honest. And I love too because she's from Tennessee. So it's so funny when because she calls her kids like she's like, go tell your daddy. Like
Yeah.
it's so amazing. It's so amazing. So,
Cool. Will
yeah.
do, Kel. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And just last, she likes to talk about how people from her neck of the woods enjoy making Jello salad.
Jello salad.
Yeah.
Yum.
And then she goes, I didn't
Fancy.
realize how much sugar is in Jello salad. So
Oh, Kelly, are you okay?
not really, but I needed a laugh over the last week, so this has
Oh,
provided
nice.
it. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, go grab a lozenge, take care of your throat, and thanks for pushing through this one,
Yeah.
Kel.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say thanks for being ridiculous as per usual. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that too.
Yep.
And thank you to everybody for finding us wherever it is that you do. We appreciate that. Thank you for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.